I'd now like to welcome to the stage, firstly, Lars Rasmussen from Google, who you've seen speak already today. And also Rob Adams, who's a Director of Design and Urban Environment for the City of Melbourne. He's an architect and designer. He's come here to Sydney to tell us how much better Melbourne is than Sydney. No, just kidding. He's come to... grab a seat, Rob. Grab a seat, Lars. Remember, you can ask questions. Kari is standing here just to my right if you want to ask any questions there. Now, I want to start actually with the Google map maker that you talked about there, Lars. My question there is, in a sense, it relies on all these volunteers doing this work. Why do they do it? Is Google just live off obsessive compulsive people who just work for free? Like, why do the people put the time in to do these things?
Well, I think if you live in a country where there isn't an online map like that, you have every motivation in the world to go and help build that. We actually, we try and obviously give that data back to the community, all kinds of different efforts like that. I actually myself, there's this one place where Google Maps just got to turn wrong, and it happens to be on my way to work, and I want to go fix that just so that it doesn't lead me astray. And I think that's actually primarily the motivation.
But with this, in a sense, presumably this would have been something that would have been done by a commercial organisation in the past, and now it's literally just done by volunteers who try and do this. I mean, I'm not saying that they're trying to do this, but in a way, Google benefits from this kind of free labour of these passionate people around the world who want to. It's the same as Wikipedia, who want to fill in and are doing the work themselves.
Right. I mean, it's exactly like Wikipedia, right? That there is clearly, and a lot of it is because we have free APIs and we give the data back for other uses as well than just Google Maps. And I think that's the sort of arrangement between us and the volunteers that makes it all work, which is not dissimilar for what drives Wikipedia. I mean, Wikipedia, like I mentioned in there, was overwhelmingly the inspiration for these guys in India to build MapMaker.
I also wanted to touch quickly on Google Wave, because I have tried to use it, and I noticed that you didn't explain what it was. And I've tried to use it, and I can't explain what it is either. Now, how hard is it to market something that is unexplainable? Is this a concern for you guys?
Well, so how long time do we have here?
Yeah, exactly. This is it.
No,
you can't have a 4-minute advert that's trying to, this is what it is.
No, it's not actually all that complicated.
Okay, go. You got 30 seconds. That's your ad link.
No, look, the idea is this. The idea is that instead of sending all these messages back and forth, we have this one centralized object where you have your entire conversation. And this is where it becomes maybe a little unexpected. In addition to having the conversation, we let people edit each other's messages, which can be surprising at first. And I think it's actually no more complicated than what I just said. What can take a little time to get your head around is why would that make you more productive? And so, thank you. And I'll give you just a super simple example. Like all of those emails that I showed in there, it took me a long time to get all that information out of it. In a Wave, the way it works is that, and it does, and I'm just being perfectly honest with you, it takes a little while for new users to get into this kind of new mode of working. Like Wave is a tool that is different enough from other tools that it actually changes your way of working for the better, we think, of course. But so you would take the first part of a Wave and agree that we're going to record all of the important pieces of information that we agree on in the course of having the discussion about when are you coming, when are we going to rehearse, where are you going to check in, and all this stuff. And then you have the discussion, typically below or maybe even interspersed into this thing, which is really a collaborative document. And everyone can just go whenever a little piece of discussion has taken place, a conclusion has been arrived at, and is quickly copied into that document. Yeah? And so then you find that you reach your conclusion or your conclusions much faster, and when you're done, all that information you need, like the product of your work, just sits right there.
I think I work with 5 other people, and the notion that we can work together and collaborate and all agree on the one document seems ridiculous. I don't think our system is whoever sends the last email wins. So
in your profession,
this is going to really change things.
We have no hope. Hey, was there really an orgy here earlier?
The orgy's coming after this, yeah. I got a question from the audience. Cara, you got a question there?
I have a question from Sarah, who is a little bit shy to come up. She wanted to know, Lars, how will Google's relationship, or how do you think Google's relationship will change with the Australian government once the once the censorship laws are introduced?
Oh boy. Oh
it's
boy.
Not a tough one.
Yeah, that is a tough one, and I fear I'm entirely the wrong person actually to ask that question. I truly can't predict where that's going to go. So I think, my apologies, but I'm going to have to pass on that.
He doesn't know, but he is scanning for your any data usage you're using while he's here, and taking a map of it as well. And we're going to go to Rob quickly, because Rob is dealing with a question I'm sure every one of us that lives in a big city thinks there's a bit of a problem, and that is looking at the massive influx of population into our big cities and where we're going to put them. In Sydney, we just keep building new suburbs further and further out till it becomes you have to get up at 2 a.m. in the morning to get to work. So, Rob, do you have a solution to this? What are you looking at?
Well, I've actually done a piece of work that shows that we could double the size of Melbourne and only use 7.5% of the land, and we'd never have to build higher than about 5 or 6 stories on that 7.5%. So really, the problem we've got at the moment is we're using a model of expanding our cities which is failing. We're just pushing them out to the periphery. We're creating poverty and social isolation in the fringes, and we've got these huge traffic jams. We just can't service that sort of city. So we need to shift the paradigm. We need to start using the infrastructure we've got far more efficiently and getting more out of it. And it's easy.
What does that mean? Does that mean I have to put somebody into my spare room? What are the places we're not using? I mean, obviously, something like this, the CarriageWorks has been, something dilapidated has been reused and turned into a great function. But where are you saying you put the people?
Well, for example, in most cities, you'll be running a transport system, not a rail-based, but you'll be running a road-based public transport system. If you go along those roads and concentrate your populations along those roads, not invading the suburbs behind them, in Melbourne, for instance, you can get 2.4 million people, avoiding heritage, avoiding all the hard sites, and you can increase the population exactly where you need them, close to transportation.
So is it kind of like we've got to, sorry, I've been told we have to actually wrap up. We've got to go back inside very soon. So, Rob, fortunately, I'm not cutting him off. I'm just not giving away more of his speech because he's about to speak inside in a couple of minutes. So we can look forward to that question being answered. Thanks very much to Lars Rasmussen and everyone else. Thank you very much to the TEDx forum out here.